there are, not just in corporate America, but in American politics, we got some leaders. Some are good, some are not so good. Let's talk about the good ones first. So I would like to say that I believe Trump did an amazing, real solid thing today. Maybe Deezy, you can describe what he did at the wreath laying ceremony, because it's a real paints a real contrast between Trump and the current administration.
Well, he laid the wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier. They were doing gathering for the third year of the 13 soldiers who died. It's a long thing, but either way, he was there and he laid the wreath, which is usually done by the commander in chief. Historically, the commander in chief is the person who does that. And Biden and Kamala were not there. So it was Trump was there, RFK Jr. was there.
Right. So the wreath. Just to be clear, the wreath laying ceremony was for, I believe, when we left Afghanistan. Right, there were 13. Uh, I mean, we unceremoniously left Afghanistan and left all of our shit there. Right, we just left everything for the Taliban to take, and which on the one hand was terrible, and I do agree that the way it was conducted was shitty. On the other hand, I am glad that we got out of there, but there were, I think, 13 soldiers at the airport, right, that were just left behind to die. I'm not sure exactly what that situation was, but that's my understanding, is that everyone just literally left, and we just left people there, soldiers, and they all got killed, 13 of them. Is that accurate?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
And this is something, this wreath laying ceremony, which is 3 years after that happened. Is this the first? Excuse me. Is this the first time that that's been done? And only Trump was the one who was doing it. Did they never do any type of ceremony in the past? I don't know, but
Usually the president and commander in chief is the person that lays the wreath, and they've
yeah,
done it before, and they
yeah,
do it to for memorials of different soldiers often.
right, right. I'm just curious if, like, the current administration, if they were invited or if they decided to skip it. I just want to make sure that it's not.
What do you mean? They're of course they. What do you mean? Why wouldn't they be invited?
It was an official government ceremony. It wasn't like a private memorial being held by families or.
Correct.
Okay, wow.
Well, this isn't the first time that the Biden administration wasn't allowed to even touch the wreath, right? There's been ceremonies before where I believe Trump and Biden were both there, and Trump was the one who was either allowed to touch it or hung it, and they removed Biden and stopped him from touching the wreath at all. I don't think he's the president.
Oh, damn. You think Trump's still commander in chief?
I do. I do. I don't think that he ever gave up the presidency.
Man, I want to believe, I really do, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll know by election day what's going on. But regardless, I do think that in terms of leadership, I think if you're the president and hey, listen, presidents make decisions, and sometimes people die. That's just the reality of it. And get maimed horribly and all that stuff. So, one, if you're president, try not to make decisions where people get killed and maimed horribly. Might be a good place to start. But two, if you have to do something and that ends up happening, sometimes you got to send soldiers in to take care of some business and it doesn't work out the way that you hope. I think you gotta go down with the ship. You gotta show up. People scream at you, yell at you, tell you you're a bastard, whatever. I think it's better for you to show up and show your face and take the hits than to not show up at all. But I think it's an election that's happening right now. I think if Kamala showed up and there are a bunch of pictures and photos of her getting yelled at or getting snubbed or the family's ignoring her or whatever, I could see, I mean, from a strategic perspective, I could see why they would skip it. But from a moral perspective, I feel like if you're going to send Americans into something, or, expect them to lay down their lives and they die, just the right thing to do is to show up. But, I understand the politics and